really everywhere locally. Okay? How the brain functions and how the blood functions is very, very similar. You have that diagram. Irritable bowel fix, millions of Americans. It rises from too much serotonin in our intestines. Too much brain chemicals, too much in our intestines. And that's a basic explanation for all of it. And that's the connection with your emotions to your digestion.
Is it too much or is it too much?
What?
Sorry, is it too little or too much?
Yeah, either way. It's out of balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay? It's mental illness of the second brain. So we have two brains. We have a brain here. The second brain is your intestines. We have food memories. You eat a food that reminds you of your childhood. That's your second brain. And all the sayings we have. I just like that person. I felt it in my gut. Right? What do we say? Or dislike someone with a gut. With gut feelings. This type of thing. We actually have emotional states and everything. In the Qigong, we find the whole body in emotions. The idea that we think emotions are up here in our brain is a delusion. Okay? And you do deep body work, you pull out a finger or hit a point, you hold that point, all kinds of memories come out, and things from the past, and all this stuff. In the Qigong, we rub the muscles, or we tap the muscles, or we hold the point, and it releases trapped emotions. Okay? The Qigong to release trapped emotions. And the biggest place that they are trapped is in the psoas muscle. And guess who discovered that?
Sorry.
Samuel Hahnemann. Now I want to get into the details. But Hahnemann started experimenting with the LN potencies. And he started applying on top of it. Him and his wife, Melanie. And he said the best place to put a water potency is on that psoas muscle. It seems to be most effective. And then he would put one pellet in a little half-gram bottle and brandy. And the patient would wear it and put it in their pocket, and they would open and take one sniff. It's your dose. And I tried that for a few years and was too strong. One sniff. And I've told this story before. I had one patient that had warts all over his body. His son was a homeopath. So he said, yeah, I take the remedy. He didn't believe in homeopathy. But he was a farmer. So he put the thuya in his shirt pocket, his overall pocket. Okay? The son comes back from homeopathic school a few months later after summer and said, how'd that remedy work? Did it work? The son was so sure. Warts, thuya, I got it. Help my dad. And the dad said, I'm sorry, I never took the remedy. And it was crestfallen. And he said, look, and he could not find any words. Just having the remedy in his pocket worked. I treated a Native American medicine man, and he had epilepsy, coma, and brain cancer. We got him through all that. He got his driver's license back and everything. And I gave him Bowel run. And that was a remedy. And I said, you've been taking your Bowel? He said, me don't need that day Bowel no more. I said, well, how come? He said, and he opened up his chest and he had a little medicine pouch there. And he opened it up and he had the Bowel bottom there. He found out that he wore the Bowel, he had no more epilepsy. Just wearing it. So Hahnemann found out putting it on your skin in that area. Okay? So trapped emotions often begin or settle in the gut first. And they're inside. It's not just a food allergy thing. It's not just a digestive thing. It's not just acid alkaline. This is a big emotional thing in our gut. Okay? I'm trying to get all these fancy words. Functional motility, dysbiosis disease, and all your bacteria and flora and all this stuff. Okay? Populations with IBS, both of these, you can't really rely on this because a lot of them are misdiagnosed. I've met very few gastroenterologists that even think about it. I don't think Insurance companies just start acknowledging that it exists. Okay? United Kingdom, and Mexico seems to have the most of the diet. The highest or the less? Highest. Okay. Now, this is important. There's usually 3 types. So when you go in and treat IBS, you're kind of looking at 3 different types of remedies. Or if you find a remedy, if someone has all 3, they're in bad state, as you'll see coming up. Okay? So there's a spastic type, where they have a lot of cramps and spasms, and they're diagnosed with food allergies and all this stuff. And one thing about allergy shots, I forgot to mention, this radium brome and X-ray cause all these warts and skin tags and these little red things pop up after X-rays and things. Allergy shots do the exact same thing. I've had people come in and they had these spots and skin tags. I said, "You had an allergy shot?" I said, "Yeah, how'd you know?" "Oh, I was just guessing." Okay? So that's this is vaccination too. Allergy shots are vaccination. Okay? So back to this. So there's a spastic type, spastic colon type. So you use spastic colon type of remedies. There's a diarrhea type. Okay? So every time they eat something or get emotionally upset. Now how can the doctors explain that? Whenever I get upset, I get diarrhea. Now they can deal with it. You ate this food and your body reacted. But IBS reacts to emotional states too. And that's where the serotonin comes in. Then there's a third one that has constipation and diarrhea, alternating. And that's an easy rubric and stuff to repertorize in the books, constipation and diarrhea alternating. Okay? Then when I see this, I want to make sure the remedy covers the energy leaks. So what's the energy leak? And number 1 is you want a remedy to relieve the spasms. Colocin, staph aureus, whatever the remedy is. The energy leak number 2 is you want a remedy to help that diarrhea. If that remedy you choose does not cover the diarrhea, you're not going to have much success. Okay? Because that's a loss of vital fluids. And steam baths and loss of vital fluids too. The sweat lodges are lost. We can have no prejudice. Okay? It's just that if you overdo it, it's loss of vital fluids. Okay? And then the third one. Okay, and there's a percent or about equal of people with these 3 types. So usually in the first 5 minutes of taking case, you know what type they have. And that would do it. Now this is what I love. I'm afraid that your irritable bowel syndrome has progressed. Now you have furious and vindictive bowel syndrome. So it can progress until you're on heavy drugs and medications and all this stuff. And what do I see when I see that? So, oh, this person might have a lot of anger. This is a lot associated with anger and grief. And I disagree with Chinese medicine that anger goes to lungs. Anger and grief can go to any organ that's weak. Okay, they have a fixed diet, but grief or a shock, if a shock hits my body, and that vibration goes through the body, it will disrupt any weak organ or tissue. Okay? So you can have grief in the liver, grief in the bowels, grief in the kidneys, grief in the lungs. So the classics is grief in the lungs and sign and echinacea. But you also staphysaggrar grief in the bowels, causticum grief in the bowels. A bitter taste in your mouth after grief. That's vile. Bad divorces and lawyers and all this. That's not your typical grief of a pet dying and loss of love. And, there's different types of grief. So our idea is to diagnose the type of grief, and then find what really fits that. Okay? And not get too far out into all these symptoms, and get away from what has to be cured is the grief. Okay? Now, this is a book if you're an avid reader, you want to get this book. It's called The Second Brain. Think twice how the gut's second brain influences your mood and well-being. Now, it's a two-way street, as we talked about yesterday. I can have not me, and anybody can have a back injury and get depressed. I give a back injury remedy and ignore the depression. Or if I have 3 backache remedies that kind of fit, and one also has depression, there's your remedy. Okay? But the cure is to fix the backache. The depression will go away. Not emphasizing the depression, which is a symptom of backache. Or someone can be depressed and have a backache. As we say in common language, that person or somebody calls pain in the back, or their job, shoulder, they call it burden on the shoulder, the back. It could be psychological too. And then you aim for the psychology, no prejudice. But you aim for psychology every time. There's prejudice on the opposite. You didn't understand the case. Okay? I'll tell you one story article very quick. So this is a made-up story. Some of you will get the hint. Most of you won't. So I made up this homeopathic story. And I named the homeopath Nasrudin. Okay? And Nasrudin was a famous person in history. He was a jokester and all that. But he was the Forrest Gump of the Sufis. Okay? He was so dumb that he might have been the smartest of them all. So Nasrudin is a homeopath. So this patient, this famous wealthy person, politician, or whatever we make, it's all hypothetical, goes to a homeopath and he has all these bad symptoms, but the main thing he has is hemorrhoids. Okay? Hemorrhoids. The hemorrhoids feel all full and sharp pains and all this stuff and all and that. So he goes to one famous homeopath, another famous homeopath, another famous, and they give up and they say, well, there's Nasrudin. You don't charge much money, $5, and you don't see him and that. And he comes in and Nasrudin says, what's wrong? He says, I got hemorrhoids and bad, and all these homeopaths can't help. And they give me these remedies, for this and that and that. And no one's helping that. And they said, well, hemorrhoids? He said, that's easy to fix. What's it feel like? He said, it feels like I have sharp pains. What do you mean sharp pain? It feels like a splinter is in there. Esculus, nitric acid, all these remedies have it. And Nasrudin said, what? He said, bend over. Bend over that, and he pulled the splinter out. He said, those homeopaths are too intellectual. There's whole books on Nasrudin stories like this. One of my favorite is, he lost his keys in the house. Right, you know that. He lost his keys in the house in the dark. Okay? So they come to Nasrudin out by the street lamp looking for his keys. And they said, well, what are you doing? I'm looking for the keys. They said, well, where are you losing the keys? I lost them in the house. I said, well, why are you looking out here? You think I'm insane? How can I find them in the dark? I have to look in the light. It's like the thin colon, to make sure looking in the dark. When you need light, you see it. It's a longer story than that. Okay, so the second brain, this is unbelievable stuff. We talk about the power of the brain, the body, and the cells and all this, and this is even more powerful. You look at the second brain, 100 million neurons. Okay? It feels the inner world. It's our gut. It's your child and your children's first memories and stuff. And when you have colic and all that stuff, we want to clear that little stuff. We want to give chamomile. I know homeopaths, we need them to treat this stuff. And to me, that's the highest form. First aid, acute, colic, earache. The homeopaths that don't do acute. They're not homeopaths. You can call them psycho-homeopaths. Psychotherapy. Okay. So we all know all the aspects of homeopathy, in the home, out in the field, hospitals, whatever. Okay. We feel the inner world in our gut. Okay. It's almost like emotions here and the intellect here. I'm not ready to really say that. Okay. But that gut feeling is really our unconscious brain is connected to the gut. And this is one of my favorite parts. The two brains are playing chess. Gutsy move for brain. Now, and my favorite thing is look at the tissue. And the same thing with charcoal. The folds of the tissue increases space. So the brain has 100,000 miles of vessels because of the folds. And the thing is the villi, diverticuli, and the folds in there where all the food and stuff gets stuck, and the colitis, diverticulitis, and all this stuff happens. Okay? And it's that convoluted space in both of them that makes it, gigantic. Okay? I mean, just think, our brain has enough blood vessels to go around the earth 4 times, every one of our brains. When you're talking a number of neurons and all that, you're talking stars in the sky. And the connection, you multiply the connections to it. That's our potential. We have no idea what our potential is. Okay? And this is the mind-body connection that a lot of people still deny. Every time you think or eat and all that, the gut is taking all the same emotions and feelings and thoughts into it. Okay? I'm saying all this because this is what we find behind irritable bowel. It's not just food allergies. Mood disturbances, stress. This is also one of the keys why stress is such a bad thing for everybody. Oh, when do you get diarrhea? Oh, whenever I'm stressed out. What stresses you out? Overwork or deadlines. Okay. So I'm aiming a remedy up there psychologically to get rid of the stress. Okay. Even though it's hitting the gut. So in that case, I want to find out what's going on. Oh, I get diarrhea every time I eat something. Now I'm aiming the remedy more at the gut. Okay? So external things. Both are external, but they're affecting in different ways. So there's communication back and forth. So you eat bad, you feel bad. You eat good, you feel good. You eat good food, but too much, you feel bad. Okay? So it's all there. You just play with a different level. So this serotonin affects almost everything in the body, all your nervous system and everything. Heart, breathing, everything. Okay? 2 brains are very common in how they act in the neurotransmitters. 95% of body serotonin is found in your gut. And all the psychiatric drugs are aimed at manipulating serotonin. What do they call them? SRIs or something? I forgot all the terms.
SS.
Yeah. All the serotonin, something. Yep. So serotonin is the connection, the brain chemical is the connection with irritable bowel. So the tonics we talked about, bacopa, lacuna, all those also calm, and even raw chocolate, cacao, and these things affect the serotonin. And mellow it out and give you a good mood, and these type of things. Okay? And these also change the times of the day and the season. Your serotonin levels and melatonin levels all fluctuate. Okay? So 70% of our immune system is aimed at the gut. So this is just to show you how important diet is. Okay? You can eat a bad diet, you have no symptoms, you don't worry about it. 70% of all your immune activity is to defend yourself against what you ate. The majority of your immune system is there to protect or go in your mouth. Okay? And that's the first line of defense, and then we got the liver to filter, and then we got the colon to get rid of it, and all that. So people that eat something have a good reaction, I mean, you can have hypersensitivity, but sometimes that's a good sign. My body just won't tolerate anything. No way. It's out. Okay? And that's not because it's clean or pure, it's just because, my immune system is not going to hopefully is strong. And it says no. Okay? But you can keep giving small amounts of bad food and bad food and it gives in. Okay? But the immune system, now we got the brain and the immune system all connected to the gut. Okay? old saying that we dig our grave with our knife and fork. You can dig fast or you can dig slow. So all that we eat is considered foreign, and the immune system will go there and watch and all this. Okay? Here are our SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So all those drugs will affect. So anybody on psychiatric drugs, look through their colon and see how it's affecting your digestion. Signs and symptoms, there's many of them. There's a cute little picture. Something having a brain, sunglasses, see the mouth. So, can't read all this, but all kinds of things. We have some work charts coming up. Heartburn, headache, fatigue, all this stuff. But mainly a lot of bowel stuff. And the colon, it's not lunchtime, but I still don't want to get into some of this stuff. It's really good growth. But we have layers and layers of stuff in the colon. Somebody say 5, 10 pounds of junk in your colon that's been in there. Okay? Until you clean it out by some cleanse or colonic